Ethan Cole, a soft-spoken single dad and former Navy SEAL, leads a simple life in a coastal town. Every morning, he drops his daughter Lily at school before heading to a SEAL veteran gym where he trains quietly, unnoticed by most. But a faint tattoo on his neck had the mark of a secret unit catches the eye of someone who knows exactly what it means. Commander Ava Raines, a sharp and respected SEAL officer, spots the tattoo during her visit to the gym for an advanced combat workshop. The emblem is one known only to a classified operation she once studied, a one that supposedly ended with everyone lost. Curiosity turns to disbelief when she realizes Ethan is one of the ghosts of that mission. Ava confronts Ethan gently. He resists at first, haunted by memories of war, loss, and a brotherhood torn apart. Through their quiet talks, his trauma begins to surface and Ava learns the truth about a mission buried by politics and pride. As trust builds, Ava invites Ethan to mentor new recruits at the gym. His calm strength and humility inspire everyone, especially Lily, who begins to understand the quiet hero her father truly is. Ava and Ethan's friendship deepens, rooted in mutual respect and unspoken pain. One evening, at a memorial event, Ava publicly honors Ethan's fallen teammate, revealing the truth of their courage. Ethan finally lifts his head high, the tattoo no longer a mark of sorrow but of honor. The gym erupts in applause as Lily hugs him proudly, a story of healing, humility, and hidden valor, a proof that real strength whispers, not shouts. Perfect. Thank you for confirming. Here's your single continuous 2,000-word cinematic narrative version of just a quiet single dad veteran at the SEAL gym until a female commander saw the tattoo on his neck, told as if it spans 15 chapters but flows seamlessly without headings or paragraph breaks, ideal for narration or video adaptation. Ethan Cole lived by the rhythm of silence. The mornings began before sunrise, the quiet hum of the ocean outside his small coastal home blending with the sound of his steady breathing as he laced up his running shoes. The photo on the dresser always caught his eye first, a young man in uniform cradling a newborn girl, a frozen memory from a life before the noise, before the missions, before the losses that turned him into a ghost. His daughter, Lily, was the heartbeat of what was left of him. At 8 years old, she was all the color in his otherwise gray world. Every morning, he made her oatmeal the same way, 2 spoons of honey, 1 sprinkle of cinnamon, and listened to her chatter about school projects and playground adventures as if it were the most important mission briefing of his life. By the time he dropped her at school, the day's quiet would begin again. Ethan's destination was always the same, the Forge, a veteran-run gym that smelled of iron, chalk, and old sweat. There were no mirrors there, no music, and just the echo of weighted plates and the deep breathing of men and women rebuilding themselves, one rep at a time. Ethan didn't stand out, though he easily could have. His frame was built from years of endurance and combat conditioning, his movements controlled and deliberate, but he preferred invisibility. People nodded at him in quiet respect, the kind reserved for those who'd been through things that didn't need explaining. And then there was the tattoo. It wasn't large, hidden mostly beneath the collar of his gray t-shirt, but when he stretched or turned just right, the ink showed an intricate trident wrapped around a feather, faded by years and sun. Few noticed, fewer knew what it meant. To most, it was just another SEAL symbol. To those who truly understood, it was the mark of Phantom Team 7, a classified special operations unit that had been erased from existence after a mission gone wrong. On record, they were ghosts. One morning, while Ethan was midway through his workout, a new voice echoed through the steel hangar walls of the Forge. "Good form," said a woman, her tone authoritative but calm. He turned, finding himself face to face with Commander Ava Raines, a respected SEAL leader visiting to conduct a tactical training course. Her presence drew immediate attention. She carried herself with confidence born from years of command. She introduced herself, shaking his hand, and he responded with a polite nod. It was only a brief exchange, but when he turned back to the barbell, she caught sight of the tattoo. Her eyes widened slightly, not in recognition of the design itself, but of what it implied. She had read the reports, studied the files, and memorized the insignias of units that didn't officially exist. Phantom Team 7 was one of them. She said nothing, but something in her expression lingered, and Ethan felt the weight of it. That night, After picking Lily up and sharing ice cream on the pier as the sun burned gold across the waves, the past felt closer than usual. Lily asked him softly why he never talked about his Navy days. He smiled, telling her that some stories were heavy, even the good ones. When she fell asleep, he sat alone, staring at the old mission patch tucked inside a box of medals he never displayed. The next morning, Ava returned to the gym. This time, she worked out near him. They didn't speak at first, but mutual respect filled the air. Eventually, she said quietly, "You served with Team 7, didn't you?" Ethan froze. Few dared say the name out loud. He simply said, "That's classified," and went back to his set. But Ava wasn't easily discouraged. Over the next few days, she observed him, the way he moved, the discipline in his silence, the leadership in his posture. She had seen soldiers who broke under the weight of war, but Ethan had folded his pain into something calm, almost sacred. One evening, she approached him again, not as a commander, but as someone who understood loss. "You don't have to carry it alone," she said. Ethan looked at her for the first time without the mask of distance. "Some things aren't meant to be shared," he replied. But in his voice, there was exhaustion. That was the first crack in the armor. Over time, conversations began in fragments. The discussions about training routines turned into mentions of missions, then into quiet confessions about the ghosts that haunted them both. Ava learned that Ethan had been the lone survivor of an operation that was buried by command, written off as a failure. He'd lost his brothers, his best friend, and part of himself in a single night under enemy fire. When he returned home, the world had moved on, and he chose silence over explanations. Ava, moved by his story, began inviting him to assist in training sessions for younger recruits. At first, he resisted, saying he didn't belong in that world anymore. But she persisted, and eventually, he agreed on one condition: no ranks, no titles, just people trying to get better. His first day as an informal mentor surprised everyone. He spoke little but demonstrated everything with precision and patience. The recruits respected him instantly. His calm demeanor, quiet intensity, and rare smile lit something in the room. Even Ava found herself inspired by how he turned pain into guidance. Lily began visiting the gym sometimes after school, watching her father train and cheering him on. The other veterans adored her. She brought laughter into a space that had long forgotten joy. Slowly, Ethan began to open up more. The gym that once served as his sanctuary from the past became a bridge connecting him to it again, only this time through healing, not hiding. But peace never came without tests. One afternoon, a visiting officer recognized Ethan and whispered rumors that the ghost of Team 7 was still alive. The news spread quietly through military circles, stirring old questions about the mission's secrecy. Ava found herself caught between loyalty to command and her growing bond with Ethan. When her superior confronted her, demanding information about him, she chose silence. She knew exposing him could destroy the fragile life he had built. That night, she warned Ethan, telling him people might start asking questions. He nodded, unsurprised. "They already have," he said. "But I'm done running from ghosts." The following week, Ava organized a memorial event for fallen veterans at the forge. She invited Ethan, though he almost didn't go. But Lily insisted, saying, "Dad, maybe it's time people know what kind of hero you are." The words hit harder than any mission order ever had. He went. The gym was filled with flags, old teammates, families, and silent prayers. When it was Ava's turn to speak, she did something unexpected. She told the story of a team that had gone missing on a mission that never made the news. Men who gave everything for their brothers, and one who carried their legacy quietly so others could live free. Then she called Ethan's name. For a long moment, he stood still, his hands trembling slightly. The room turned toward him as he walked forward, the weight of years pressing down. Ava revealed the insignia of Phantom Team 7 on the memorial banner behind her. Gasps filled the air. She spoke his name with honor, saying the words he'd never allowed himself to believe again: "Welcome home, Chief Petty Officer Ethan Cole." The room erupted in applause, but Ethan didn't see the crowd. He saw the faces of his fallen brothers, smiling through memory. Lily ran up to him, wrapping her arms around his waist. He whispered to her, "They'd be proud of you too." In that moment, the tattoo on his neck was no longer a mark of guilt, it was a symbol of survival. loyalty, and love. After that day, Ethan became an official mentor at the Forge. Ava remained by his side, both as a commander and as someone who saw in him not just a soldier, but a man rebuilt from ashes. Their bond deepened naturally, not out of romance at first, but out of shared understanding. In time, it grew into something more quiet, unspoken, strong. Together, they started a small veterans outreach program, helping others transition back into civilian life, teaching them that silence wasn't weakness, that healing was an act of courage. Ethan taught combat skills, but also discipline, patience, and the art of breathing through pain. Ava handled the structure and advocacy, using her rank to open doors he couldn't. Lily became the heart of it all, drawing smiley faces on whiteboards and calling the veterans dad's friends. Months passed, and word spread. The Forge was no longer just a gym, it was a sanctuary for the broken and the brave. Reporters came, documentaries were filmed, but Ethan avoided the spotlight. He told Ava once, "The story isn't mine, it's ours, all of us who made it back and those who didn't." She nodded, understanding the humility behind those words. On the anniversary of the Silent Reef mission, Ethan returned to the beach alone at dawn. He traced the team's initials in the sand, letting the waves wash them away. He whispered, "I kept the promise," and for the first time, he felt peace instead of pain. Ava found him there later, watching the horizon. She stood beside him without speaking. He looked at her and said, "You saved me." She smiled softly. "No, Ethania, you saved yourself. I just made sure you didn't forget who you were." Years later, people still told the story of the quiet single dad at the SEAL gym, the man with the mysterious tattoo and the calm eyes who rebuilt lives without ever asking for recognition. Some called him a hero, others a legend, but to Lily, he was just Dada, the man who made oatmeal with cinnamon, who listened more than he spoke, and who taught her that strength didn't always shout. Sometimes, it simply stood tall in silence. Would you like me to create a cinematic narration script for this version, with pauses, tone cues, and music, sound guidance, perfect for a 22-minute storytelling video with iVoice or human narration? It'll make production smoother and more emotional.